You sit down to study. You open your laptop. YouTube opens automatically. Just one video. Then somehow, it's 2 a.m. And now the task feels even bigger, even scarier, and even harder to start. So you promise yourself, tomorrow I'll definitely do it. But tomorrow becomes next week. And slowly, procrastination starts destroying your confidence. But here's something most people don't know. Procrastination is not actually a time management problem. It's a psychological problem. And once you understand what's really happening inside your brain, beating procrastination becomes much easier. So in this video, we'll break down why procrastination actually happens, why motivation alone never fixes it, and the science-backed methods that make your brain want to take action. By the end of this video, you'll probably stop calling yourself lazy forever. So hello, viewers. Without wasting further time, let's solve the problem. If 2x plus 3y equals 45, then how many times will you watch this video? Section 1. The real reason you procrastinate. First of all, you should know the reason behind your problem, because knowing the reason itself solves 50% of the problem since it gives you clarity. Most people think procrastination looks like laziness, but psychologically, they're completely different. Lazy people don't care. Procrastinators do care. In fact, they usually care too much. That's why the task feels emotionally heavy. Think about it. Why do you procrastinate more on things that actually matter? Exams, important projects, big goals, life decisions. You rarely procrastinate on scrolling Instagram for 3 hours because your brain sees difficult tasks as emotionally threatening. Maybe the task feels overwhelming, stressful, boring, uncertain, or connected to fear of failure. And when that happens, your brain tries to protect you. So instead of doing the task, your brain searches for something that gives immediate emotional relief, like gaming, scrolling, sleeping, random productivity, watching videos, literally anything except the task. And here's the dangerous part. Every time you avoid the task, your brain gets rewarded because avoidance removes discomfort temporarily. So your brain learns, avoiding this task makes me feel better. And slowly, procrastination becomes a habit loop. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is trying to regulate emotions. Your brain values immediate pleasure more than future rewards. For example, studying gives rewards later, but reels? Dopamine hits. Your brain naturally chooses the faster emotional payoff. And modern apps are designed to exploit this. Every scroll, every notification, every short video is competing against your future goals. And honestly, your biology is not built for this level of distraction. A lot of procrastination is actually fear in disguise. Fear of failing, looking stupid, not being perfect, disappointing people, realizing you're not as good as you hoped. So your brain creates avoidance. You've probably experienced this before. You want to do something perfectly, so you delay starting entirely, which is ironic, because procrastination eventually creates the exact failure you were trying to avoid. Section 2. Is procrastination always bad? Now, surprisingly, not all procrastination is harmful. Sometimes delaying something briefly can actually help. Your brain continues processing ideas subconsciously. That's why writers, artists, and creators sometimes get their best ideas while not actively working. But the problem is chronic procrastination, because chronic procrastination creates stress, guilt, anxiety, lower confidence, poor sleep, and eventually burnout. Over time, the biggest damage becomes psychological. You stop trusting yourself. You tell yourself, I'll do it later, and your brain slowly learns. My own promises don't mean anything. That destroys self-confidence faster than failure ever could. Section 3. How to actually beat procrastination. So now comes the important part. How do you actually stop procrastinating? Not with fake motivation, not with just work harder, but scientifically. Method 1. Make the task ridiculously small. One of the biggest reasons we procrastinate is because tasks feel too big. So instead of saying, I need to study biology, say, open the PDF, study for 5 minutes, write one sentence. That sounds stupidly simple, but psychologically it works because your brain fears overwhelming tasks more than effort itself. Starting is usually the hardest part. Once you begin, momentum takes over. Method 2. Stop waiting for motivation. This changed my entire understanding of productivity. Most people think motivation leads to action, but in reality, it's usually action leads to motivation. You don't feel motivated and then start. You start, and motivation appears after movement begins. That's why successful people focus on starting, not finishing. A powerful rule is commit to beginning, not completing. Tell yourself, I'll just do this for 5 minutes. Because once the brain sees progress, resistance drops dramatically. Method 3. Design your environment. Willpower is overrated. Environment matters more. If your phone is next to you, Your brain will want stimulation. So make distractions harder. Put your phone away. Use website blockers. Prepare your workspace beforehand. Make good habits easier to start. The less friction your environment creates, the less energy your brain wastes resisting temptation. So here's the truth. Procrastination is usually not laziness. It's emotional avoidance, fear, overwhelm, stress, or your brain chasing immediate comfort. And that's important to understand, because you cannot solve emotional problems using pure self-hatred. The goal is not becoming a productivity robot. The goal is making action feel easier for your brain. Start smaller, reduce friction, focus on beginning, and most importantly, stop seeing yourself as lazy. Because the moment you understand why your brain procrastinates, you finally stop fighting yourself blindly. And that's when change actually begins. If this video helped you understand yourself better, then you know what to do, because we break down psychology, productivity, and self-improvement in a way that actually makes sense. And comment below, what do you procrastinate on the most? Because trust me, you're definitely not alone.